I got an email yesterday stating that my podcast is ranking number 17 in the leisure category in South Africa and number 241 in the same category in United Arab, courtesy of Podcast Ranking. It's a website that ranks podcast and the position you are in every country. Guess what? This is a big deal for me. It's a very big deal for me. It shows that people are listening to my podcast, and I appreciate that a lot. You, and you. I'm so grateful. Hi, my name is Omo, and this is the child in me. On today's segment, I am going to be rooting for the guys. I promised this in one of my episodes, and I have not fulfilled that yet. But please don't say because she's female and she expects female only to be listening to her podcast. That's not it. Now this is your time, guys. It's your time to show forth, and that's because my next guest is going to be a guy. That's why I'm introducing this. You see, I understand that the world always wants the men, the guys, the boys to be strong because they believe, yes, that's what the gender stands for. Well, let me tell you something, guys. That ended, I think, in 1950 something or 1961. I'm just joking. That's not an exact date. But I'm just saying that is an old school thought. These days, we want men to come up with whatever they're thinking. We want you to speak out. We want you to show weakness some way. We want you to break down if that is what it takes for you to be okay. Because the suicide rate of men these days is very high. It's on the high side, and we don't want that to happen again. I know the world is mostly focusing on women because they believe women are they break down easily. I don't want to use the word weak. I know they believe women are emotional, especially when our hormones come to play, and they believe we cannot handle some stuff. And they want us to also believe that men are the strong ones and they shouldn't speak out or show any sign of weakness. Men. I'm calling you 3 times. This is not 1961. We want you to tell us. We want you to show that you are not fine if you are not fine. We want you to show you're not fine if you're not fine. We understand that this responsibility is a lot on you. We understand that you want to break down sometimes where you feel like, no, my wife shouldn't see me this way, the world shouldn't see me this way. But you do deserve, or you have the right to, an emotional background. Let me put it that way. And then when women speaks, or when they say something about having the same rights as men, we know they want to, or we want to also have the same right. We want to enjoy everything that men has, but the emotional part is what we don't want men to stand on the same level with us. That's not us, though. I think these are some extremists. When you talk about the word feminist, because now I want to bring that into the limelight. When they say someone is a feminist, they believe it's somebody that wants everything above the men. No, we are all human. We have 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 head, and our hands and legs are equal. But we are mostly treated separate, and we are mostly treated like a second citizen. That's why we came up with the word feminist. Men can also be feminist. If you believe women should have the same political, social, and economic right as men, you are a feminist. It has absolutely nothing to do with putting down men or boys in any order to elevate our status. So, if you believe women should have the same right, or if you believe, or if you fight for the same right for women, then you are a feminist. So guys, this is for you. Let me erase the women part. Just erase that from your head. Let's put it back to men. So this podcast for today is to encourage men to speak up, is to let you know that you have the right to being emotional, to speak out your mind if you're not fine with something, and stop letting it feel like you have to be strong all the time. It kills. You can see a man. Okay, I read a news some months ago about a celebrity who just finished enjoying, who just finished drinking and having fun with his friends, and the next moment he committed suicide. It means this person has something deep down in him that is really eating him up. It might be bills, it might be debt, it might be emotional feelings. Maybe his relationship is not going on well, but he wouldn't want to say it just so the guys don't call him weak. Oh, guy, what's wrong with you? You're a man. Then he decided to let that eat him up, and he eventually committed suicide. Now we can't even tell what made him commit the suicide because he's gone. But people believe it is the emotional part of him that took the better hold of him. So please, men, you can speak up. Please speak up. This is me, Omo, encouraging you to speak up. That we are willing to listen. We see everything you do. We know the bills are on you. We know the family burden and everything is on you. Just speak up, and then the women, or if you have a partner, will be able to split that with you, and then you'll be fine on the long run. You can share the problems and all the burdens together. I hope I've been able to convince and not to confuse you that men should speak up emotionally. On my next podcast, the voice you'll be hearing is that of a man who is also willing to share that part with us. He would go in depth with the reason why men refuse to speak up. I know there are lots of reasons behind it. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I remain your humble host, Omo, and this is the child in me. Remember, men, I am rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Go, men, men. Go, men, men.